Dicejunkies, we're actually going to be doing a game, a how to play, instead of a review this time because, well, this game's a pain in the ass to learn to play.
Yeah, it can be.
Well, and there wasn't any good videos out there when we went to go play on how to play. So we were sort of like, this needs a good video on how to play.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it'll be great if we definitely would have gotten into it a whole lot faster if we knew how to play. So, Last Heroes is the game that we're talking about today. A little overview of the game. It is for 3 to 5 players. Should take about 45 minutes. Fairly accurate from what we saw. And, yeah. Before...
Got cool little thingies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pain in the ass put together, though.
I was about to say, be sure that you go and check out the video and the link in the description on how to put these things together.
Yeah, we'll put a link at the bottom of the screen. We'll put one in the description that you can probably click. And yeah, no, definitely before playing this, you're going to want to look at that video. They did a good job. It's sort of hidden.
Yeah.
Like we found it after we put these things together. Now on the back of the piece that you can't see anymore because it's hidden when you put it together, there's actually instructions on how to put it together.
Yep.
But they're not very good.
Yeah. Well, the other part is when you're putting it together, it's got these little eyepieces.
Yeah, yeah.
And the instructions, part of the instructions are on the back of the eyepieces. So when you pop them out, there goes part of your instructions. Yeah. So, you know, definitely watch the video. Definitely don't pop everything out to begin with. Keep one of them just so that you have a reference. Mm-hmm. And but yeah, other than that, these which are your magazines are pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's got some cool toys.
Absolutely.
And so we've got our little men.
Yep.
Got our little torch holders or whatever you want to call them, power-up holders.
Yeah, they're kind of trophies or
there you go.
You know, artifact holders. The whole basis behind this game, Last Heroes, is every so often in this fantasy world that they've come up with, the realms of chaos open up breaches into our world, and these heroes get together and work in the shadows to defeat all of these creatures coming in through chaos. The whole point of this game is to have you and your companions go through and defeat these breaches. The main goal, if you do it correctly, is to gather all of the artifacts and seal the portal to chaos. Otherwise, you're just killing as many as you possibly can. They say that the game is a forced cooperative game, which is somewhat true. You have to use the resources of your companions and the other players to actually get the job done. But it's not so much a forced cooperative as just a strategic competitive game.
Yeah, no, it's definitely competitive. Like, I don't see playing this game as a 2-player game. Or,
well, you can't. I mean, it's
I'm sorry.
I wouldn't,
as a 3-player game.
Yeah.
Like 4, I would think is at the minimum I'd want to play it.
Yep.
Because at 3, the way the cooperative, competitiveness goes, 3, you're just gonna have a lot of, I guess, disgruntled people.
Yep, very angry. very angry as you continually screw each other over.
Yeah, where 4 to 5 players gives you a little more room for strategy.
So, setup of the game is fairly simple once you have this beast created. Once you have these put together, you will start. There are 3 different levels of creatures. And all of these will be shuffled together. You've got your level 1, which has a little 1 slash mark. Level 2 has a 2 slash mark. And level 3 has a 3 slash mark.
Yeah.
As seen up here.
And they're right there on the corner. So it's relatively easy to decide which is which or figure out which is which.
And depending on how many players that you have, you'll set them up into rows. You'll have the 3 rows, and for a 3-player game, you will have 3 monsters, 3 columns per row.
Yeah.
And at the end of each row is a randomly drawn artifact. So that's where the little trophy holders come into play.
So you'll have, let's get one more.
Yep.
But yeah, so you have these trophies at the end, and I guess you can go ahead and start telling them how they get the trophy.
Yeah, so what you're going to be doing is you, at any point in time, if you have the capability of defeating these 3rd level creatures, which are considered lieutenants, you can just outright destroy them. Mm-hmm. That gets you the card, which you can see the number on the card at the end of the game. That's how many points you get.
And we'll explain the pow pow bam bam in just a minute when we talk about how to actually play.
Correct. And once you defeat one of them, you get the card and you get the trophy. Mm-hmm. Unless, which we'll get to in a second, someone else is holding the breach, which we'll get to that in a minute. If they are holding the breach on a lieutenant, then they are the ones. They get the trophy, but you still get the card.
Yeah, and that'll get explained just here in a sec with when we explain how to play.
So, first thing that you do after you set up your board, you actually hold on, because what you do first is
yeah, that's right.
You have to go through, and most of these are cosmetic. You have 12 of each of the different colored.
I didn't realize that we had reorganized them there.
Yeah. So what you'll do is just choosing whatever colors that you want. You pick however many players that you have. So for a 3-player game, you'll choose 3 of these, which we will have these. You shuffle them up and deal out equal hands to everybody.
Yeah. How big of a hand do we have?
So you're going to have 12 cards.
12 cards, okay.
Yep. And after you get your hands, which we'll just deal out 2 simple hands here. That should be 11 or 12. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Yeah.
12. 12.
All right.
So once you get your hand together, this is all the cards that are going to be in the game. And the first thing that you do is you have to load ammunition.
Yeah.
Everybody, you randomly choose who's going to go first.
And this should be on 0.
Yep.
And this also should be on 0. You have a little 0 here. This, and then you have this little spinner up here, which is also should be on 0 at the start of the game.
So let's talk about this real quick. Your magazine. So you've got 2 guns, and these little empty spots right here are where you put cards into. That's going to be your ammunition. That's your ammo. And this, the little top spinner that goes from 0 to 3, is what's called Joker ammo. You get that while playing the game. The dial at the bottom, which starts at 0, like we said, but can go negative or positive, that is additional points that you get throughout the game from you doing certain things and other people using your ammo. So the first thing that you'll do is you want to load ammo into your magazine, just like we have here, and just like I'm going to do as well. And the cool thing about this, one of the neat little parts about this whole magazine, is as you use ammo, which these little pips on there, the symbols.
Now, does everybody go ahead and load their ammo right away?
Yes.
Okay.
First thing that you do is you choose.
Everybody loads their ammo.
Correct. Everybody chooses 2 cards out of your hand, loads into your magazine. And then as you use ammo, which we'll get to in a minute, you actually move the guns down to show how much ammo is left. That, after you load, everybody should have 10 cards. The game is going to go through 10 rounds or until all of the artifacts are gathered. Now, as you play, a sample of how you play is you have 2 options, which there's this really cool in the front of the book that we did not use.
We probably should have used that.
The rules summary, which goes over the exact how to play.
Oh.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah, we missed that part.
Yep. You know, I mean, when you've got a certain someone, a certain basic someone that is going over the rules. So, anyway, on your turn, you've got 2 options. First thing that you can do is, well, you have to play a card from your hand. You can do that in 2 ways. First way is you can load ammo into your magazine. To do that, you take any of the cards that you have in your magazine and you replace it with another card from your hand. The card from your magazine goes to the discard, leaving you with 1 less card in your hand.
Because no matter what you're doing, you should get rid of 1 card each turn.
Correct.
This is how we get closer to the end of the game.
Correct.
So yeah, once you now it's probably not advisable to load your gun on your first turn.
No, probably
as when you use your ammo, loading is how you can get it back.
Correct.
So it'll make sense to do it then. Now,
the other thing that you can do, instead of loading your ammo,
is going to be to basically take one of these cards in your hand, and if you'll look, you have hit, pow, 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 bam, bam on these cards. Now this is where what's on these creatures comes into play. So this bottom row is your easiest to take out. You're going to have your hit, your bam bam, or hit. It's usually just 1 simple command for getting rid of those.
at the bottom.
Where these higher up levels, you have to have like 2 items or 3 items or more to try to take them out. And we'll tell you how you can do that in just a second. But first, basic shoot, let's say I want to take this Bam Bam guy out. Now, each turn you can only use 1 piece of ammo from your weapon.
Well, you can use 1 piece of ammo
Now, yeah, if you have,
from any side,
yeah,
and that's from anybody's. So, for example, if you wanted to load,
so let me see. I should have checked on what I had. Here we go. That's not going to help me none because our
Can't do that
ammo
one,
type.
yeah.
Here we go. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to, I guess, let's go to a hit first.
yeah, that'll work.
We should have planned this a little better. But anyway, so if I want to do a hit, which means I can knock out one of these first guys, I'll remove one of my bullets. And if I want to do that, then I hit and I've taken this card. Or I can play that a different way and use one of his bullets
Correct.
to power my hit. Now, if I use one of his bullets, he gets a point.
I do. So I move the little counter down at the bottom. Every
So-
time anybody uses any of my ammo, and it's not my turn, I add a point down at the bottom.
Yeah. So these points here will, there's things that lose points, gain points, stuff like that, but they'll be combined with these points on these cards of the monsters you kill, at the end of the game to see who wins.
Yep.
So that's why you may or may not want to use somebody's ammo, because you are giving them points to win the game.
Right.
So let's say I used his. So I'm leaving my ammo alone for now. I do the hit. So bang, I knock this guy out. It's a 2-point card. And it also has another icon that says I could reload a card, or I can swap a card.
Right.
That's what that icon means, is you can swap a card. That means I can either swap a card in mine, or I can come over here and swap a card on yours.
Correct.
Right?
Yep. Any other player.
Yeah. So let's say I want this pow pow of his. I can take that pow pow and go, well, you got a hit now.
That's right. So when that happens, whenever you load ammo, whether it's with a swap or during your turn you're loading it just into your own magazine, whenever you load ammo into the magazine, it always fully maxes out. So if he had swapped it with another 3 and I had used everything, meaning that was empty, it would get loaded with 3.
Now the card I discard is the card I used to kill this.
Correct.
The card I swap with him goes back into my hand.
Right.
So that goes into the discard pile. I now have this creature in my points, and my character is now advancing this row, which means he'll go and sit right here on top of this bam bam, which now makes this creature easier to hit.
So all of the cards, even the lower level ones, which the lower level ones don't have anything written on them, so they all have the kind of yellowish spot and then a black spot. Whenever you kill a creature in a row, you put your token onto the black spot of the next one up.
Yeah. Now this is where sort of the cooperative comes in, because now I have made it easier for him to kill something that has higher points.
Or for him, if it gets back to your turn and you have that to do. So the only time that you ever take your character off of here is if you kill another creature, which can be anything, or if you don't kill any creatures, it just comes back to you.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the way that the turn goes. On your turn, you can either load ammo into your magazine, or you can load a weapon, which is what he did with this one.
Yeah.
To load a weapon, you have to use however much ammo is up at the top, and it all has to be loaded in one go.
Now, like we said on these top ones where there's actually multiple hits that are needed, there is the option to load the weapon but not fire it yet.
Correct.
So that allows you go through the bullet stuff, you put that, and then you keep this card over here loaded.
Correct.
So this is the time I guess you don't discard a card.
No, you still discard a card.
Well, you don't discard a card. This card,
right.
once it's used, is discarded, but
Right.
it is removed from your hand.
Right. That's true.
So it doesn't go into the discard pile, it just goes off to the side. It is permanently removed from your hand, though, as it is a loaded weapon ready to be used. And that's how you'll end up with these higher kill counts to get these bigger things, is by loading weapons, sort of stacking them up over here.
Right.
And go, when this thing comes through, I'm going to kill it.
Yep.
I got plenty of weapons.
Which is great until someone, you're planning on this one and someone else kills it before you, and now you don't have what it takes to kill the rest of them.
Yes.
So there is
Yes.
definitely some strategy in it.
Now let's talk a little bit about, I guess, the paying for multiple bullet cost on a card.
Yeah.
Because that is a little different.
So one thing that we did not talk about is whenever you load ammo into your magazine, you are going to get a Joker ammo. Anytime that you load ammo into your magazine, or if you use the ability on the first row to swap out an ammo, you still get a Joker ammo. If you do it to yourself.
Yeah.
If you swap out with anybody else, you do not get a Joker ammo. Anytime that you load into your own magazine, you get a Joker ammo. Joker ammos can be used for anything, and you can use multiples. So if you are trying to get this one, for example, which costs 3 of the lightning bolts, you can use one of your own.
Yep.
But I don't have any lightning bolts.
Yeah.
So what he would have to do at that point is the third player he could use if they had lightning bolts in both of their guns.
Let's make you the third player now, and this is your setup.
So I've got now 2 lightning bolts. He uses one from his hand, from his magazine, uses one from this side, and one from this side. I get 2 points because he's using 2 of my ammo.
Yeah.
And he has now loaded that weapon.
Now I've loaded the weapon, which gives me the pow-pow. The other thing is if I did load my weapon and I had a Joker point that he was talking about, instead of worrying about the type, the color, all that, it will take care of any of it. So I could use one of mine, use that Joker, and then I'd only have to give him 1 point for having to use one of his.
Right.
The Joker is, like I said, it's a universal bullet, and it's gotten anytime you load your weapon, or there's some of these tokens that will do it.
Correct.
But yeah, so that's pretty much the basics. What else we got to run by real quick?
End of your turn. So at the end of the turn, you look and see, do you have any empty spots? Which means that the gun is all the way down.
Miserable rule. This is also another way to screw your friends.
Correct. So what you can do, well, we won't give the strategy out, but if there is nothing there, then you actually go -1.
Yes.
So whatever you are at, you go the opposite direction. And that is for, you can lose up to 2 points per turn if both of your magazines are completely empty. The next thing that you look at is if you've killed a creature, then your marker is out. If you have not killed a creature, you return the marker. And the last thing that you do is you fill in any empty columns with, you flip a new card, unless someone is holding the breach. So since your tank is right here, we don't fill in a creature here.
But because I just loaded my weapon and I didn't shoot anybody, then my tank would come back.
Right.
And the breach would open back up, fill in the hole.
Now, when you have completely, because I mean, you go through these monsters fairly quickly.
And this is one of the reasons why I said I think the higher numbers are a little better, because getting to this point in the lower numbers of players is not going to probably happen.
It's harder to do.
Yeah, we barely got to it with 4 players. I don't even see how you'd get to that point with 3 players, probably.
Unless everybody is just killing the level 1 creatures, then maybe. But if there is no monster to flip, then you use one of these breach tokens. The breach token counts just as a character marker. You put it over the black spot of the next available creature. And now, you don't have to have a marker on there or anything. It is only going to take that first level, pow pow, bam bam, or hit, to destroy it and get that card.
So yeah, at that point it starts getting higher to fight for those higher level points, those higher point count cards. Now I think the only thing you didn't mention is one last thing on the characters. So if he was to kill this creature that my tank is holding the breach on, then that's also a way that my character would come back to me,
Right.
and then his character would advance to there.
Right.
So, and now he's holding the breach instead of me.
Right. And because we have, if you've got your creatures out here, even though we're only on the third one, there's still someone holding the breach. No more monsters get drawn there. Now, if I'm here and you take out this last one, this lieutenant, this comes back to me.
Yeah.
You get the card.
I get the card.
But
you get the trophy.
Get the trophy.
And the breach now
is back
open. So yeah.
Now the last thing that we can talk about is, which we didn't get to interact with too terribly much, are the actual artifacts.
Yeah, we didn't. I think one of us got the artifact, and it's a one-time use, right?
It is a one-time use.
And,
you can use it.
She had gotten the reload one, so she used it to get a bullet, and that was pretty much the end of that.
Right, and I mean there are different things like this one. The exchange one allows you to use the same ability that you would use from killing a level 1 monster. Swap out ammo with anybody or yourself. Adrenaline allows you to attack 2 monsters instead of 1 if you have the required loaded weapons for both. There's an impact one, this one in fact, that counts as a free hit and bam bam. And all sorts of different ones.
Yeah.
You choose them at random at the beginning of the game and just place them out.
Yeah. To me, they're not very beneficial. The bigger thing is the 5 points you get.
Yep.
With the standee, and so it makes it where it doesn't suck quite as bad that you help somebody get those big points while you held open the breach.
Right.
That time.
Yeah. and the thing is, depending on how the cards lay, because you have, for example,
Yeah, like here you could have a 10 and a 16. So if I took the 10 and I'm holding this open for you, you get the 16. Well, then I get the 5. I almost break even.
Exactly.
Plus I get a neat little token.
Yeah, you get the one-time use ability. So at the end of the game, and this goes around.
Unlike we said, it goes around until you run out of your hand.
Pretty much.
Or once again until the trophies all get removed.
Right, and it's as soon as the last trophy is obtained, that's end of game. Period. Otherwise, it goes until nobody has any more cards left.
Which is most likely, in my opinion, going to be the way it goes.
Right.
Unless for some reason everybody's helping each other. Which, what kind of people play games like that?
Not us. Not us. At the end of the game, everybody should have a pile of creature cards. They'll have a pile of creature cards. You'll have your personal magazine.
Yeah. Could be in negatives, could be in positives, could be 0 still.
Yeah. And then some people may or may not have the trophies. You just add everything up.
Yeah. So then you'll take your cards, you'll add up all those bottom numbers. Then if you got a standee, you'll add that in, and then you'll add
or subtract,
which I think most of us ended up subtracting.
Yes. Yeah. We did not want to help each other out.
No, we were
not at all.
Once again, not gonna give away some strategies.
Right. Yeah.
There are some strategies in this.
Absolutely.
But yeah, and then whoever has the highest points, that's the winner. And that's all she wrote.
Yeah, that's it. After that, you just choose the winner and then be mad at each other and probably play again to see who's the better person.
Yeah. Hopefully this is a decent how to play. Hopefully you know how to play now after listening to us go through this. Like I said, we couldn't find a really good one out there on how to play on this
really
game.
One at all, to be honest. Yeah.
And so we was like, hey, if we knew how to play this game a little better when we started, we would have really enjoyed it better, because like we got frustrated a lot because of some of the mechanics just not seeming to work. Once we figured it out, which was a good ways into it, we started seeing strategy, stuff like that. But for some of us, it was too late.
Yep.
Not for me, I won. But
It's true. He did.
But yeah, so hopefully you enjoy the game, and check it out. Check us out. We've got more videos. We're on Dicejunkies.com. There you can find the links to all the places we are online: Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, all that good stuff. You want to help us continue doing this stuff, then you can also support us on Patreon. If you liked our how to play, this is our first how to play. We usually just do reviews. If you liked our how to play and you want to see more, let us know in the comments. If you hated it, let us know in the comments. And hopefully you'll have fun with whatever game you plan on playing next. Anything?
That's it, man. Just go check out Last Heroes. I think that there are a few people out there that have given this game a little bit worse rap than it deserves.
Yeah.
I definitely recommend giving it a try.
Yeah, I know. I don't think it's as bad as a lot, but like I said, if they came in with some of the issues on not knowing how to play,
right,
I can see where it could get you a bad taste in your mouth early on playing the game without knowing how to play it, really. Because even, I mean, I'm looking over even the simple instructions I have at the beginning. There's a lot of ifs, ands, or buts.
Right.
So hopefully we gave you those.
So yeah, now that you know how to play Last Heroes, give it a shot and let us know what you think.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.